Well, this, my friends, is what we call a carp orgy. This is a trip from this spring. I saved it because it's kind of a best of 2023, and I'm finally going to go ahead and release it. Doing the recording now, but I have had this edited for quite a while. Typical setup, springtime setup for me. My Maverick, a Corp Big Fly, 16 feet of leader, and then I was using an unweighted carp maul, or what I call a blind maul. You're going to see a ton of activity here. Springtime carp spawn is incredible, and unlike your traditional European carp anglers, which, by the way, carp fishing is the most popular fishing in the world, sport fish in the world, right? For those that don't know. So there's a lot of people that fish these real heavy outside of the US, especially in the UK, throughout Europe, into Asia. You'll hear a lot of them say that during the spawn, they don't fish for them. Well, it's not that way fly fishing at all. And I don't know that I fully know the difference. And it may be because we're triggering them in fly fishing more than using bait to lure them in. But during the spawn is fantastic. Now, I will tell you, we don't want to fish for them if they're actively spawning. So the fish I showed you at the very beginning, these are all great. Almost of them were 10 pounds plus. I mean, my arm was destroyed at the end of the day. So I got a lot of footage in here. I've got a little bit of this, first person. You can kind of see there. You can see the rest of them explode there. So when they're spawning, we're not going to target the ones that are actively spawning. So if they are in the act of spawning, and that makes sense, right? You don't eat if you're in the act, or at least most people don't. If you have a weird fetish, whatever, but typically animals and people don't eat if you're in the act. So like these right here, these are spawners actively spawning. So while they're actively spawning like that, they are typically not going to eat. But what you'll see sometimes is they'll be cruising along actively spawning, and then they'll stop, slow down, and you'll see the change there, right? The back one's still trying to get that front one to spawn, but the front one is actually stopped. So now it's feed time, and you'll see them do this a lot. So they'll be spawning. Now, this one was a little irritating because that little guy who was also in there trying to take advantage of the spawn, and you'll see that too. The little ones will hang in right there with them, and try to take advantage of when the female lays eggs. Then that's a little male right there that's going to try to take advantage of that. But he came cruising forward and ate it. It was kind of a cool look, but definitely not what we're looking for, right? I didn't want this little guy to sneak out in front. But anyway, the point of that was, you can see, even though there's active spawning going on, they will feed almost immediately after that. So again, some more first person here. I just don't like this as much. I started doing quite a bit of this in the spring, and I stopped doing it just because, for me, it's not as compelling as the overhead view. Cool camera that allows me to kind of capture some of this and post edit and keep it pretty stable. But I don't know. A video like this versus that, they just don't compare. Look how skinny this is, how clear this is. So just captured some footage of this to share. I can't wait for the spring again. It's November now, almost into November. Everything's starting to freeze over. I cannot wait till this happens again in the spring, when the carp start gathering. Hopefully before the bow hunters all show up and scare them away, I can get out there and get into these guys again. I love it. So this is a really cool little sequence right here, okay? Most of these aren't really feeding, but you see the one cruising in there, kind of moving. So none of these other ones are really moving. Now, there is one that's kind of tipped down there that would likely eat, but really what we're looking for is that movement right there. And look at that, the charge and the eat. That was awesome. I sat there for quite a while waiting for one to give me a good look, and I was kind of worried I'd spook them when I first put it out there. Fortunately, they didn't spook. I dropped it in there real softly with an unweighted fly, and then this one came charging over. And you'll see here that there are other fish in here that are bigger than this fish. This is on the bigger side, but there were some fish in here that were even quite a bit bigger than this. Just look how many fish are right there. But this is a great fish. I think it was just under 15 pounds. So you can see the size of fish that start coming in this time of year. And then you kind of see the whole school move out together. Carp are big time school fish. So usually if you can find one in an area, you can end up, finding multiples, and you see some more fish kind of cruising by. And these guys will go out and kind of do big loops and stuff as they move through this area. But I don't know, this whole trip was just some incredible footage during my favorite time of the year, during the carp orgy or the carp spawn at the first of the year. Yeah, I just absolutely love it. And yeah, this is a great fish, a big, heavy, awesome fish. That's why I do it, man. I love this stuff. You can see the snow in the background, and it's definitely colder temperatures, but the water was up around 50 degrees. Probably it had been a little bit warmer the day or two previous to this. This day got a little bit cooler, and so it was probably mid 50s. And that's usually what I target for when the carp tend to get really active in the spring. Is you get up into the mid 50s and it's on, and man, I can't wait for that every year. Another nice fish. So again, here I'm in super shallow water. You see that guy dive and ate right there. Just so cool this time of year. Now, obviously, I can't see that as well when I'm out there, but in the post edit, when you come in and you look at this, and look at this charge again, just absolutely awesome. I mean, he's cruising around, just eating everything he can. And that's how they get when they're spawning. They are way hungry, right? They go expend a bunch of energy trying to spawn. The males are trying to get the females to spawn. The females are spawning. They swim around a lot. They're bumping into each other. They splash a ton. They get tired and they get really hungry and they get super aggressive. This is usually the time of year that I catch my biggest fish. This particular trip, I didn't catch anything over 20. And I don't catch a lot of 20s out here. I do catch a few. But this spot isn't where I catch my biggest fish. Having said that, the average fish out here is usually over 10. So it's a great spot to go chase them. And 10-pound carp is awesome. 20-pound is special. 30-pound is ridiculous in my part of the world. In fact, just over 30 would put you in the record books for Utah. But 20's a big fish. And all these really were in that 10 to 15, 16-pound range. Just absolutely fantastic. Gorgeous day in the spring. Like I said, I wanted to save this and share it in the spring just to see. I mean, look at this guy eating, tailing, just going crazy, eating off the bottom. Man, they just get so hungry and so aggressive. If I could freeze time during this time of year. Fortunately, this is a short period, especially in this particular water. They kind of come in and they spawn. You usually have a week or two and it's over. But when it is on, it is unbelievable, just like this. So how visual that is, and that eat, the charge. Then we're on. It just doesn't get any better than this. I mean, for freshwater, for me, there's nothing that touches this. I love bone fishing, and I love flats fishing. Anytime I can sight fish, but man, I love this. All big fish, all big fights. Just an incredible time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. There's some more footage here. I haven't been real good about getting videos out here in the fall. I don't know, just awesome. The explosion there. And you'll see these other fish come in and actually try to get it to spawn. Right, that one behind it. It's likely a male trying to rub up against this. And I'm pretty sure this is a female. That is not foul hooked right there. So carp have a big old dorsal fin. And a lot of times you will hook that dorsal. Right there, it popped off. And so it will look like they're fighting from the side. So that was it popping off the dorsal and then into the mouth. And it just keeps charging running. But anyway, I was closing this. There's some more cool footage. Hope you guys like this. Can't wait till next year. Should be some awesome footage. I do have some more stuff that I took earlier in the year. I'm going to share during the cold months to hopefully get us through to where we can start going out and chasing them again. But appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe, and I will see you soon.